Hello and welcome to another video from Mr. Miz Nation, and once again we are back with Career Mode, Episode 6, around Monte Carlo, Race 6, the glamorous circuit, the historical circuit, the brilliant circuit of Monte Carlo, and the tight circuit of Monte Carlo as well. But we qualified 10th, which is pretty amazing considering everything. But I've actually decided to turn it down to Expert for this race, just because Legend I kind of tried and it just wasn't really working, although I did put it to Legend for the final qualifying session, and obviously those were the results, me being intense, although I actually saved tyres in that anyway, so that was okay, but I am starting on options. But yeah, I have turned the difficulty down just for this race. I think I just want to see how well I can do on Expert, and kind of if it maybe is the right level for me instead of Legendary. I don't know if it will be, because Canada is usually the game changer in the season and I'm usually quite solid around there, so that may be the return of Legendary. But with this race being live commentary around such a difficult track, I think Expert might be a bit easier for me, even though I do like my own challenges. But yeah, we did qualify 10th. Bottas and Verne went out in Q1, kind of similar patterns starting to form in the season now. Fernando Alonso was on pole after his struggles in Catalonia, so that's very interesting to see as well. Apparently it's a bog standard one stop as well. I'm not so sure about it, but I guess we'll see if we can make it just on a one stop and without any front wing losses, of course. But we're going to need our lightning start, and also I'll probably be talking about the real life F1 if I get a chance as well, qualifying around Melbourne. So if you haven't seen the results of that, then you might want to turn this video off now if you haven't already. And also one last thing before we go racing. The audio I've kind of been tinkering with to try and get it perfect, but I can't seem to get it quite perfect at the moment. I think just this background noise problem might be there for quite a while until I get better headphones or something, or a better microphone, I don't know. But hopefully I've minimised it a bit now with the tinkering that I've kind of done, but hopefully it won't affect your viewing too much. But anyway, it's time for me to stop drivelling on, I guess. Well, maybe not, but it's time for me to go racing, I guess I should say, instead of drivelling on. But great performances by Daniel Ricciardo, Kvyat and Magnussen in qualifying in real life. Hopefully I can follow in their footsteps for this race instead of obviously qualifying, but I am a young gun just like them, so maybe I can follow their performance. But this is going to be very interesting because Expert I've tried a couple of times and I've been pretty quick with this Sauber, but this track is going to be quite difficult as well, so this is going to be a potentially more interesting race than any other this season. Well, Catalonia was quite interesting, but who knows what's going to happen as the lights are out pretty quickly there. They seem to flash off so quickly there. Oh my god, Mass is absolutely charged there, and Grosjean's gone incredibly quickly, or slowly through there even, as I'm up to 8th now, so that's not a bad start. Raikkonen is in 7th. Oh, hello. Grosjean trying to get past me. Got to be careful down at this corner. Oh my god, Raikkonen's had a bit of a off there. Oh, well, he can't really have an off, but I've gone back round the outside of Grosjean there, who initially passed me after getting stuck behind Raikkonen. But we are up to 8th, which is a good start. The question is, can we keep with a pack now? Or is my talking going to cost me again? The skies also do look a bit dark. There's 0% rain forecast for pretty much every session, but it is a bit dark, so you never know. Rain could come down here as well as we... Oh my god, it's very slow through there from Raikkonen. Oh my god, we locked wheels slow there. That wasn't intentional at all. Oh, and we've gone round the outside of Raikkonen there, who's also been passed by his own teammate. Very nice move there to pull off. So we're going around this corner now, and as you can see, there's already a clear difference as I'm actually just about keeping whiz cars, and I've already opened up a bit of a gap to Grosjean, so there's a clear difference between Expert and Legendary. I just seem to kind of outperform the car on expert, and then legendary and kind of where Saber would be, but I'm always kind of struggling to keep there, really, I guess. But I mean, I'm not one of the best players on this game like a flipping Tim at Marduk or a Noble, so I mean, I'm trying to find the difficulty that's kind of best for me and best suited, that I can actually have good races and a good career mode instead of just battling with slower cars. But it may be completely different around Canada. Oh god, we've slightly hit the wall there, and that's a repeat of one of the restarts that I had to. Oh my god, I'm getting absolutely mugged in the tunnel now as Perez tried to go past, and we're down to 10ths now. Poor driving from me, but it's just like that when you got to be on the ball 24. Oh my god, I've absolutely corner cutted there, and that was kind of unfair on Massa, but I am going to keep the place because I'm a dick, I guess. There's no other reason why I'd keep that place, to be honest, but yeah, I have done quite a few races before this, kind of on legendary, and they all basically ended up with me in the wall, so that's not exactly promising for this race. But well, the third one I actually just decided that I was going to go for expert instead of legendary, so I just kind of changed my mind to kind of suit the what I wanted. So I didn't actually crash in the third one, as we've done another almighty corner cut through there, but we've now got a lot of time to gain after losing out to the two Lotuses, who are two of our big main rivals this season. And I swear I just saw rain, unless I'm going mad, but I don't know. What are the tyres looking like? They're not too bad. They could be a lot worse. Anyway. I have a feeling if I kept on expert, I might just start dominating the season. So it's really difficult to kind of gauge what I want to do with this at the moment. But yeah, it's quite difficult to decide as we approach the this corner, which I actually hit pretty nicely there as we start to catch Raikkonen a bit. But let's just kind of go into the actual F1 now. Brilliant performance by Daniel Ricciardo, Magnussen and Kvyat, as I said just before we went out on track. But very shocking about Sebastian Vettel going out in Q2. I guess it wasn't kind of his fault, and that Red Bull does definitely have pace, at least in the wet. And it still looks like a very, very quick car. A lot of people didn't even think they'd get to Q2 at points. So, oh my god, I'm absolutely sorry about absolutely butchering this turn 1 at the moment. This is shocking for me, as I keep thinking I'm seeing rain. It is very, very dark. But yeah, Vettel, I definitely think of game places in the race, especially if it rains actually. But Toro Rosso will be hoping it will rain probably. Probably the biggest surprises for me, Toro Rosso, that they managed to put it 6 and 8s, to be honest. I wasn't expecting them to be that far up. Verne responding to his critics, putting it in a very, very nice 6th place, which is nice to see. But then again, he kind of got overshadowed by his teammate, even though Kvyat was 2 places lower, just simply because Kvyat is more inexperienced, as Massa's starting to get onto the back of me now as well. As we hit that corner nicely. Again, a lot of time on the AI through there, to be honest. They do seem to lose like at least a second through there by the looks of it. It looks like it's also going to be very difficult to get any higher than 7th at the moment, although it is quite close between the top 5 by the looks of it. And we're not too far off them. And at least my teammate is also behind me. In fact, my teammate hasn't really got a great start either. He's flipping down in 13th, is that? I'm not quite sure, as we've got DRS there. We're closing in on Raikkonen, so this is much more interesting because I'm actually able to keep up in this race for once. So I may try and stick to this. I don't know, as I said, it's very hard to gauge, but I'll try and stop talking about difficulty now because I am rambling on about it a bit now. As we're catching up to these two Lotuses, it looks like Grosjean's probably, looks like he's kind of goes slower than Raikkonen as we go purple there, which just shows kind of my pace on expert now. Starting to settle into these tyres, which is a bit odd because, I mean, they're not exactly looking pretty, and I mean, I might go longer on these tyres actually, because these tyres aren't looking, well, not great, but I mean, I'm still going purple on them, so maybe I'll be able to go a bit deeper into the stint with them. So I'll make the prime stint more. Oh my god, Raikkonen going incredibly slow there. I had to pretty much. Oh, this is pretty much the carbon copy of. In fact, that was pretty much a carbon copy of what happened at the start there. Taking him clean round the outside after getting close into the hairpin there. So we're up to 8s now. Oh my god, major lock up through there. which is going to put Raikkonen right back on me. Not going to get DRS on Grosjean either. Mass is starting to bring himself back into play as well as we go on to lap 6. This race is going pretty quickly, to be honest. I thought it would be kind of a slow race, but it is going pretty quickly so far. But also in real life, obviously Hamilton getting pole, that was interesting to see. Rosberg very unlucky with the time kind of screwing him over in the end, and also that mistake that he made in sector 2 as well, which possibly cost him pole. Ricciardo, very nice to see him put up in second. I thought he had pole, and I legitimately whispered "oh shit" when Ricciardo put it on pole. Sadly, I couldn't let out my excitement in a more expressive manner because I was having to whisper because I was the only person that was up at that time because I am mental, I guess. It was nice waking up at 5:30, and I do feel refreshed going into this race as well. And I think Raikkonen seems to have dropped an almighty amount of time through there as well. As we're really hitting the apexes nicely here, this is looking very, very good. This has been a very nice lap, so we're actually getting into the groove later on in the stint, which is weird to see, really. As we hit the apex nicely there, but what else can I think about here? Alonso in 5th, and Kimi Raikkonen was... I think Kimi Raikkonen was a big talking point because we were talking about him... Oh my god, that was slightly dodgy from me. I was about to sort of talk about Kimi Raikkonen crashing, and then I almost did it myself there. But luckily we only lost a bit of the wing, although that is going to screw me over in the pit stops. I might lose a place to Raikkonen in the pit stops if he gains enough time on me, so that's going to lose me time to Grosjean as well, frustratingly. So that was slightly annoying as I just turned into early there was nothing more to it, and it's also going to be slightly more difficult to brake. As the sun seems to be coming up a bit in this Monaco race now. It was very dark at the start, and all of a sudden it's just gone incredibly bright, which was the complete opposite of Melbourne today. It's kind of difficult to catch up with a yellow wing. Maybe I pit this lap to try and go for an undercut. I don't know. No, we're going to stay out. I have a feeling most people will be pitting on flipping this next lap, though, which we're going on to, as Grosjean's opened up a slight gap there. Be very interesting to see if the safety car was brought out in this race. We haven't seen any safety cars this season yet, but it would be nice to see one this year. But obviously, any antics at the start were more likely to bring a safety car out, which didn't happen. So sadly, there probably won't be one. Although Canada has been known for its safety cars as well, so maybe we'll get one in the next race. And where the hell did Raikkonen come from there? We really are losing time, so we may have a complete repeat of, although saying that, I was about to say we're going to have a complete repeat of Bahrain, but Grosjean and Raikkonen will also have to stack if they pit on the same lap, so I may win out against Raikkonen anyway, or Grosjean, depending on who pits first and who pits second. Although I have gained a bit of time through there, which I always seem to do. It seems just, I don't know why they're so slow through there, to be honest. I just gained so much time. Oh god, we're going to have to cut that slightly. That was poor driving from me. Some people are in the pits, in fact most people are in the pits as we go around this corner now. Grosjean stays out, so I do wonder if that means that Raikkonen is pitting as we go into the pits now to put on the prime tyres. Out comes that McLaren there. We're into the pits, and we're going to have to get that front wing changed. Hopefully we can get it quickly. Come on, come on, come on. Oh god, my teammate, I thought was coming. Oh no, oh damn it, we did lose out to Raikkonen, no one else, but we did lose out to Raikkonen, frustratingly. Luckily we do have a lot of fuel on board though, so we can utilise that to our advantage. Looks like Perez is up there as well. And we've got to try and get Raikkonen straight away here. I'm just going to use all my curves straight out of the pits. And we're actually going to try and go up the inside. Oh my god, that was incredibly crazy from me there. That was even more nuts than my button attempt at China on the last lap. So I did just about make it through, slightly dirty you could say. Somehow I didn't put it into the wall there as well, considering how quick I was going into the corner. I don't know how I managed to pull that off really. I think it was lucky that the AI wasn't aggressive through there, to be honest. But it's time to push now and minimise the gap between me and Grosjean, and we should gain a bit of time through this section here, as we usually do. Hits that very, very nicely there. Run out of curves as well here, so most other people will be hitting this lap. I think Alonso is still leading the race, so this has been, compared to other races, this has actually not had much contact, which is very, very odd considering it's Monaco. There's been very, very little contact, to be honest, which is strange. After what happened in Catalunya, you would have thought that there would have been about 20 crashes in this race, and there's people coming out of the pits now. That's Perez, Massa, so Raikkonen has dramatically lost out, and is that Ferrari going to get out ahead of me? He just is, but I may have to go for a similar move like I did to Raikkonen. In fact, it looks like Perez just got out in front of Raikkonen there, so I have lost quite a bit of time there, as Massa is now ahead of me. So it looks like someone's still out there, as even if I get past Massa, I'll still be in 9th. And we're just gonna, no, we can't quite go up the inside of Massa there. We may have to go up the inside coming out the tunnel, which is my favourite place really to go for an overtake. Try and pull an Adrian Sutil on Alonso. We have to try and get past him sharply though. Oh bloody hell, that was poor from me again. It's getting slightly frustrating now because I know I have the pace compared to Legendary, where I know it's usually shit. So I know I have the pace to get in front of these cars. It's just I can't redo it because the track's so narrow. As we took that relatively nicely. I don't know if anyone else is coming to the pits this lap. No. So, oh god, we've took that horribly again. It's very, very difficult. In fact, that's a Williams in 8th, I believe. So they'll be pitting very soon, and that's also going to probably hold Massa up and me up. So depending on when it pits, of course. If that's on primes, though, it'd probably be going about 12 laps. So that's going to be a major factor between me and Massa. So I think this whole second stint is going to be trying to get ahead of Massa again and then trying to push on to Grosjean, which could be quite difficult, but you never know. This is Monte Carlo, anything can happen. A safety car could come out, anything could really happen, as we're getting very close to this Williams now. Hopefully it's not Maldonado after what happened in Bahrain. We can't be screwed over by him again. It may be Bottas, so who's had a few good performances this season, but his qualifying was pretty poor, so I'm expecting it to be Maldonado, to be honest. We've pulled away from Perez quite a bit as Massa is now closing in on Maldonado. I sense I'm going to gain a hell of a lot of time at this corner, especially with these two battling going into it. And Massa's had to back off as well, so yes, we have gained a lot of time through there. So this is going to immensely help Grosjean as well. But after Massa's pretty good performance, if I remember, in Catalunya, it'd be nice to beat him, to be honest. Can we get past Massa into here? No. It is Maldonado as well. Oh my god, it's getting so tight now. Maldonado causing all kinds of problems, and me and Massa now getting in a bit of a tangle, and I've got DRS, but he's also got DRS. There's going to have to be a bold move into turn 1. It could all end in tears, and we're not quite going to make it. Or oh my god, Massa went so slowly through there, and now we're side by side. I don't know what Massa was trying to think through there, but we're trying to go round the outside, and we've done it. And Perez is also trying to join in the action now as well, so that's helped Grosjean immensely, and Maldonado is still out on track, so we've now got to navigate Maldonado, and hopefully he can hold up the rest of the guys, although it does seem like he'll be pitting this lap as well, so we may have passed. Oh, hang on, he's on options. What the hell? Pastor Maldonado on option tyres, and he's gone 12 laps. Okay, I thought he was retarded, but I don't think he was quite this retarded. And I mean, maybe he's trying to brace himself for Lotus next season, I guess. I don't know. After Lotus's terrible performance in qualifying today. Oh my god, he just crashed into the wall, almost took me out, and oh god, this is not nice. He's trying to go around the outside. Oh god, it got so close there, and Massa's got almightily held up there. So we're now 7 seconds behind Grosjean after that whole thing, and with 8 laps to go pretty much now, it's going to be, I'm going to have to push like hell basically. Can't quite seem to get my words out today, Jesus Christ. And finally Maldonado pits after 12 laps on, oh no, he was on primes, wasn't he? I'm such an idiot because I thought he was on options, because, oh no, he's definitely on prime tyres. Sorry about that. I'm not quite on the ball today. As we go through here, I'm really trying to focus, that's probably why. That's my excuse. That's a massive gap between 6th and 5th, so we're not going to go any higher than 6 by the looks of it, if we're even going to challenge for 7th, that is. And Massa and Perez and everyone else is still pretty close as well, so I've got to be wary of them, although I do seem to be pretty good with the tyre wear around here. Breaking down for this corner, went in there very, very hot, almost too hot in the end. Oh, hello, looks like someone's coming out the pits up there. I do wonder if any back markers will affect the race here as well, as we go through that nicely. Turn there. And nicely through Anthony Noakes there, as we may be going for our fastest lap here. Note 3/10 off, but we're relatively keeping pace with Grosjean and pretty much all the cars around me. So this difficulty is definitely suited to me around this track, but will it be suited to me around Canada? I'm not quite sure, but I guess we'll see. Nicely through there. 7.8 goes on now, so slowly gaining. But since there's not really much going on at the moment, I guess I'll talk about real life F1 again. So Jenson Button getting almightily beaten by his teammate Kevin Magnussen. Jenson Button going out in Q2 seems to be his favourite thing. Whenever he doesn't have a really up scratch car, I find he always goes out in Q2, to be honest. He very rarely gets through to Q3, especially against his teammate. He usually gets out qualified by his teammate as well, so it was quite unlucky, to be fair, though, considering there was the yellow flags and he actually slowed down, and a couple of other people probably went quicker under the yellow flags compared to him, so he just got shafted out at the very last moment. So I mean, he was quite unlucky, but of course he's up to 10th thanks to Bottas' grid penalty, who was also quite unlucky to get that grid penalty. I mean, he couldn't really do much about it. Although they were kind of expected better, but then again, they weren't really touted to be that brilliant in the wet, and I do think Williams will be incredibly dangerous in the race tomorrow, to be honest. I think if it's dry, that is, of course, but if it's dry, I really do think they are going to be the ones that will come through the field very, very well, especially with reliability issues probably setting in as well. And as for this race, it looks like me and Massa have kind of pulled away from the other two a bit now, but I'm not really catching Grosjean at all. So it looks like it's going to be me versus Massa, who kind of had a bit of a disappointing qualifying, I would say. Probably wanted a bit better, and I think he was kind of disappointed in his interview as well, to be honest. But Williams definitely more to gain in the race, as Massa are looking very feisty up my inside there. These tyres don't seem to be holding up as well as the options, to be honest. Yeah, it's not too nice. Lotus were just ridiculous. They really need to get their act sorted together, otherwise I may have to change my prediction about who's going to be out of work at the end of the year, because Caterham actually had a relatively solid flip-in session, because Ericsson, even though he didn't do too well, he still got ahead of the two Lotuses, and of course Gutierrez, who has a penalty. Although he wasn't ahead of Gutierrez, but he is ahead of him on the grid, of course, because of Gutierrez's penalty. But Ericsson was very, very well. He got experience under his belt. That was kind of the most important thing, especially in. I don't know if he went out in the wet conditions at the end. I know Gutierrez did, but I don't know if anybody else did or not. But he did get a bit of experience under his belt. Kobayashi obviously impressed a lot. 14th on the grid tomorrow, thanks to Bottas' grid penalty. Very, very solid for him, and very nice to see him up there. Maybe we'll see him make a few overtakes, and maybe we'll see Caterham get a point. Chilton somehow out-qualified Bianchi. I still have no idea how that happened. I think Bianchi also had a problem that he reported in the Sky interview that I saw, and it looks like Mass is trying to go up the inside here. I wasn't quite expecting that, and we've had to defend relatively well there. I wasn't quite expecting that, considering how kind of weak the AI have been going into that corner usually. They're usually pretty slow going into that corner, so I wasn't really expecting Massa to dive there. So, despite turning down the difficulty, I'm still ending up holding up trains, and these tyres are not looking pretty. Maybe I should have pitted a bit late. Oh my god, I've just gone into the wall as well. Oh god. If I can keep 8s now, I'll be happy, because this race is starting to go down the toilet a bit again. As we've fended him off there, kept him behind. just for the moment. But what else was there? So Kobayashi, very impressive. Still don't know how Max Chilton beat Bianchi. Perez was a bit disappointing down in 16th. I'm not quite sure what happened to him. Very disappointing qualifying for him. Satil was kind of where I expected him to be, in the middle of nowhere. And then Kimi Raikkonen was very, very odd. I mean, as I said, he crashed. Probably the most pathetic crash I've ever seen. It was like it was in slow motion or something, really. It was very, very poor from a world champion. Apparently he was fiddling about with stuff on his steering wheel, and then all of a sudden he just spun or something. He got a bit too much wheel spin, which I seem to get a lot of on this game, so I can see where he's coming from. Oh my god, I almost hit the wall there. That was incredibly close. And what else was there? There was obviously Vettel going out was major, and it was pretty nice to hear the crowd actually hit the reaction to when Vettel went out, and also when Ricciardo put it in, well, initially put it in pole and then ended up second, because you could just, that's the one thing that I think that's going to be better about F1 this year, that you can hear the crowd a bit more with the kind of dodgy engine sound now. So it is nice to hear what the, oh my god, oof, that could have ended in tears, as I had a massive lockup going into that corner. Also, speaking of lockups, Alonso had an almighty lockup in one of his runs in qualifying. I don't know how he kept it on the track. That was pretty impressive. There was quite a lot of people going off the track as well, especially Lotus, of course. But and Massa's twitch was unbelievable on those intermediate tyres, and then obviously Kvyat ended up binning it, or well, kind of binning it in the same place. He didn't lose his wing completely, but he did lose a bit of his car, I guess. That'll kind of be need to. That'll be need to. I can't even say what I'm trying to say here. That'll need to be fixed for the race, even. As we're really having to hold off from Massa now. There's all these cars behind me. Surely I can't throw this away on the last lap. There's 2 cars that are going to miss out on the points, and there's 3 cars that are going to get in. So that'll be interesting to see. As it looks like there's a back marker up there actually. So we're just losing time to Grosjean hand over fist now. But so this has literally just come into my head. I think I'm going to keep Expert for the next few races, and if I get a better drive at a kind of a quicker team that's like, well, anywhere above Sauber really, Lotus and McLaren included, I'll put it back up to Expert to give me a bit of a challenge, because I'm pretty sure if it's on Expert and I'm in a Mercedes or a Red Bull or Ferrari, I'm going to be winning most races. So I'm going to kind of keep it on Expert until I potentially move teams, which may be in the middle of the season, maybe at the end of the season, so he may be on Expert for the rest of the year. But I don't know, unless I feel it's getting too easy. This race, it's definitely kind of, oh my god, oh no, Massa's going to go past. This is going to make it very interesting now. I was blabbering on too much, and now Perez is looking around my outside as well here, so that's not gone according to plan. And we've got to brake boldly in for this corner as we're giving Massa a slight touch, and we're trying to go around the outside again. We're wheel to wheel. Can I pull a Raikkonen pass around the outside? Yes, I can. It's very easy to pull that pass, I find. They just kind of give up on the inside of you, really. But yeah, I think Expert is slightly more suited to my... I think I can get good results with the flipping Legend AI difficulty, but it makes for boring races because I'm just holding everyone up, whilst I can actually challenge on flipping Expert. I think if I was just racing all by myself and wasn't doing the live commentary, I could be able to do it on a bit better on Legendary. But I think Expert is what I'm going to keep with until I get into a quicker car. So that's going to be one of the major changes for the rest of this season, really. As it's of course the last lap now. This has actually been a relatively dull race, especially in the second half of the race. So it's kind of been nice to digest into the qualifying this morning, as Alonso wins the race. There was absolutely no emphasis in my voice there as he won the race. Alonso just seemed to romp clear of everybody. It wasn't too eventful, this one, but go around that corner, hit the apex nicely as we almost lose it there. That would have ended badly. It looks like Massa might have almost lost place to the McLaren there. In fact, oh my god, I almost pulled a Nico Rosberg there when he crashed in his Williams a couple of years ago. That could have ended badly. Looks like there was an almighty scrap there behind as Massa got very slowly into that corner. We're really struggling with a tyre wear now. We're going to come round the final corner now and hustle our way to 8th place. A very good result, back in the points, albeit on expert, but I'll take it. I didn't really have too many offs. I was relatively consistent, and sadly we failed our objective, which was very odd because my objective in qualifying was 14th and it was 7th in the race, so they expected me to gain 7 places around Monaco. So very interesting results there. Did anyone DNF? That's the question. Pulled a rest to DNF'd again, I believe. I think he DNF'd in one of the other races. In fact, it was the last race, if I remember. So, looking at the fastest laps, I wasn't too far off the other cars now, so I'm going to stick with it. I think I could be very, very high up in Canada, so expect that to be a very, very good race for me, to be honest. As we continue now. So 10th in the Drivers' Championship, still very, very close. 3 points behind those two McLaren, who are joint on points. We've jumped Nico Hülkenberg, our teammate now, which is very nice to see. We've got back in the championship, or the teammate battle there, really. But we did get outscored by Nico Rosberg and Mark Webber, so they're going to be difficult to catch up. But we've closed the gap to Kimi Räikkönen in 6th, so that's positive. Anyone else down there? There's quite a lot of people that have got points this season, actually. Only Maldonado and Daniel Ricciardo, of all people, have missed out. I think that would be coded differently if it was the next game, after what we've seen this morning. Looking at the constructors, we're still just behind McLaren. I think that was more down to Hülkenberg's poor performance. He kind of had my performance that I had in Spain, although not quite as bad. Red Bull still dominating, although the gap is not major. They could still be reeled back in, but it is still incredibly close between me, Lotus, and Sauber, Lotus, and McLaren, so it's all to play for, really. But thank you for watching. This has been another great video to make. My race review for Australia will be up tomorrow, I hope, after the race. Well, not straight after the race, but in the afternoon. So look forward to that one, because it's going to be a pretty interesting race, I have a feeling, tomorrow. I do think Nico Rosberg's going to win, and I think Hamilton's going to break down, but that's just my opinion. And I think Ricciardo's going to fall backwards if it doesn't rain. But we will see tomorrow, and we'll also see what happens in Canada in my next career mode race. So it really is all to play for in real life and on my career. So thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.